Welcome, everybody, once again to the If I Said It, I Meant It podcast.
Bite my tongue for no one.
Kevin Shio coming to you, as always, with my good friend,
Richard Vasquez.
And we are partying and drinking and having a great time on...
I'm drinking water.
I know.
I'll get a drink. I'm kind of over, dude.
I know. We're coming to you on a Thursday, so it's not a Whiskey Wednesday.
It's a fucking dehydrated Thursday.
Thirsty Thursday for me.
In the Streets podcast is on. What's up? They gave us a nice little shout out.
They did. I listened to their show. It was good.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to listen to it.
They talked a lot about a topic, and this is at least on their first show. They talked heavily about something that's near and dear to your heart.
Anal?
Ghosting.
Oh, ghosting.
Yeah.
Fucking D.
Yeah. Fucking D. Big clit D.
Jesus.
But I am Kevin Shio, coming to you, as always.
They wanted to know our names, so I'm glad we...
I am Kevin.
Richard.
Yeah.
So, oops. What's going on here?
It was a good show. I liked it. So, great job in these streets. Mainly about dating. I mean, they only look at it from the woman's point of view, as two women would, and I guess we only look at it from
What,
the man's point of view.
since I get a chance to listen to it, like, what were their, like, who got ghosted, or, like, what happened? Like, what was, like, anything popped out?
I think they kind of both talked about, from what I remember, is they both kind of gave situations and stories of their own lives and friends' lives of them getting ghosted. And the one thing that I took away so heavily was that, and I'll be honest, I don't remember which of the two ladies said it, but you know, they really got on top, like the guys, you're assholes for ghosting this and that, and then they said, yeah, us girls probably do it too.
Yeah, girls are. I don't think this is a hashtag Me Too movement too. What the fuck? Girls are fucking assholes too. So there was this was a while ago. There was a girl that I met on like Bumble or whatever, and it's so weird because you can meet somebody, you can talk to them, have like they're telling you like, oh my god, I fucking dropped my phone because I was laughing so much because I'm a funny guy.
Yeah.
And then like the next day she like unfollowed me.
I guess you weren't that funny.
I guess not.
Either that or the dick pic you sent probably wasn't.
Yeah, micro penis. She's not down with that.
Yeah, it happens. I mean,
that shit was funny, man.
more often than we'd like to admit, it does happen. So, fortunately, I guess my chick wasn't as scared of the micro penis. So
yeah, I want to find somebody that doesn't have high expectations. You know.
Yeah, set the bar low. Set the bar low, and you'll never be disappointed in life. But we're a day late. We're a day late in our show because
Richard selfish.
Somebody didn't want to do the show yesterday.
Okay, it's not that I didn't want to do the show.
Mm-hmm.
I just couldn't tell my mom that I wasn't going to go to Shakey's for my birthday.
Oh, by the way, Sai, your brother, says that he and your mom are watching, so we may not want to divulge too much about anal.
Yeah, we won't talk about that right now. Wait for my mom to stop listening.
Once they drop off, then all bets are off.
Yeah, so we went to Shakey's. I tweeted Shaq.
Did you? Happy birthday, because it's Shaq's birthday too.
Yeah, no, I just tweeted, actually, let me pull it up. I said something like along the lines of like, hey Shaq, because I invite him every year, but he never comes, obviously. Like, hey Shaq, we're going to be celebrating our birthday at Shakey's. Let's see, find it real quick.
Well, you know why Shaq didn't come this year, right?
Why?
He is opening a new restaurant in downtown.
It's already open. Oh, yeah. Wait, it's on the one by the Staples Center?
Yes.
It's open already.
It's open,
yeah.
But the grand opening and his birthday, he was doing it at his
restaurant.
Well,
so yeah, I told him, I invited you last year, Shaq. I'm sure you're busy, but my family and I will be celebrating our birthday at Shakey's in Whittier. March 6th kids are the best. And like, called us the 3-6 Mafia.
Uh-huh.
And then Shakey's retweeted me this. It was pretty funny.
Shaky's actually did that. That's
Yeah.
impressive.
Yeah, I don't know for those
Gave
of
you
you
the
can
little
see,
like
the little,
shaky
little
shack face.
Shack face. So
That's awesome.
yeah, that was cool. But no, he did not come. But it was cool. I drank all day, man. I started drinking like at 1. Fucking, I went hard in the paint. I didn't wake up today till like 11:30,
Oh,
and
Jesus.
only because I had scheduled lunch with a friend.
Yeah.
So I went to lunch, hungover as fuck, barely ate. Came back home and fell asleep until you got here.
Yeah. When I got the text,
I feel so.
text me when you get here.
I was laying in my bed.
upstairs.
I'm laying in my bed.
I thought, okay, I'm either gonna walk up and some lady is gonna be doing a walk of shame out,
Yeah.
or we're gonna be doing the show with a woman who smells like your wiener, or you were hungover and asleep.
Unfortunately, the first 2 were not the case.
It was the third. It was
the
third.
latter.
But nevertheless, happy birthday, sir.
Thank you. I'll drink some there now. I'm feeling a little better.
Yeah, Yvette asked me what you were doing for your birthday, and I said, well, he's going to Shakey's, but I didn't know when you were going to Shakey's because otherwise I would have worked through.
Yeah, my bad. You know what? One of those things where just my mom.
It's just you do it.
Yeah, I just do it. I don't even think about it. So the background behind the Shakey's things for people that like whether you care or not, I don't know. We in my family, or at least my mom and my brother, anytime anything like good happens to us, like we go to Shakey's. When we got our driving test, like when we passed it, we went to Shakey's. You know, when I don't know, whatever, fucking we won our first wrestling match,
Yeah.
graduated,
Yep.
lost our virginity, we all went to Shakey's.
That's it. And I've had the pleasure of going with
Reaching your virginity.
well, yes, that too. But I've had the pleasure of going to your birthday celebration a few times at Shakey's. One of the hardest things for me about it is that
The Mojos?
the Mojos.
The fucking Mojos, man.
So for In These Streets podcast, who's out of state, there's a pizza place called Shakey's. I don't know if it's out statewide,
I
but
don't know.
it's your standard pizza parlor.
That's what we should do next.
What's that?
Pizza places. Just strictly pizza places.
Can we come up with 16?
I think so.
We could work on
Like Rio, like
Yeah.
most people is, you know.
It'd have to be locals.
They're
A
local
lot of local. But Shakey's is a your standard pizzeria. They do a lot of like the fried chicken.
Pizza parlor.
Pizza parlor. It's a staple for those of us who grew up in the Pico Rivera, Whittier, Southern California area. The Shakey's that Richard attends for his birthday and major celebrations was the last Shakey's that did their what they call mojo potatoes. They're just slices of potatoes that they put in. It's actually like the fried chicken batter, I think is what it is. And then they deep fry them, and they were great. But they were the last ones who made them fresh on site.
Like they cut them. They cut actual potatoes.
Then they switched to frozen. And the frozen ones are disgusting.
They're not as good.
They're
Not
horrible.
anywhere close.
They're awful. And it hasn't been the same.
Remember when you were arguing with my mom about
I did.
because she said, "Oh, we need to write them a letter," and you were like,
Well,
"You realize it doesn't matter what we do, right?"
It started with your mom not voting.
Yes,
Because
exactly.
she said
Her vote doesn't matter.
her vote doesn't matter.
And then 10 minutes later, she said, "We need to write."
Then she said, the more people we can get to write a letter, we might be able to get the fresh mojos back. And we looked and said, no, they figured out that cost-wise, it's cheaper, so it's not going to matter. And then we kind of went back and forth about, does it matter? And I said, if you're not going to vote, then why would you write a letter? Neither one mattered. But nevertheless, it was an interesting conversation.
And then you were trying to like put the parallels together, and she was like not getting it.
She was like, no,
No, it's way different.
it's way different. Yeah.
Way different.
And so, rather than just sit there and argue, I was like, Richard definitely took the heavier hand in arguing. I just said, okay, like, I get it. I'm not going to argue with your mom. But yeah, so happy birthday, sir. How does 48 feel?
Like my waist size.
Yeah.
I'm not 30. I'm not
No,
40. I'm
no.
not 38.
And
Dude,
you're also not 38.
I'm 35.
You're 35.
You know what? It feels good. I mean, I don't feel like it's different. Fucking hangovers are just worse now. I need like a day and a half to fucking recoup. I remember I used to be able to just fucking pop up, and I mean that was as recent as like a year or two ago. Fuck, man, that shit today. You know what? I woke up better than I should have. Like I should have felt way worse, but it was still shitty. Like, you know.
As I've gotten older, I've kind of shifted my my partying, drinking days.
Yeah.
And part of this is also because the time that I have with my son starts on Sunday. So my custody, and I don't even like calling it custody, just the time that I get to share with my son is Sundays, Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays. So I don't like drinking on a Saturday night because when I wake up hungover on a Sunday morning,
You don't want to do shit.
I don't want to do shit, and that's not fair to my son. So that's part of it. The other part of it is when I drink heavily or I go out and I have fun, I will do it on a Friday night. That gives me Saturday to feel like shit. And then like Sunday gives me kind of
You know, you're right. Now I think about it, anytime you have like a birthday thing,
It's always Friday.
It's always Friday. I never noticed that.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I mean, I never really dawned on me like, oh, it's always a Friday night, you know?
Mm-hmm. I just try and do it because I don't, like I said, half of it is I don't want to feel like shit the day my son comes over and he's like, Dad, why do you have such a headache? Dad, why do you smell like a hobo? Okay, so that's part of it. And then the other part of it is like, for me, and I think a lot of our friends are kind of understanding this as they get older, is you drink heavily on a Friday night, right after work, you kind of just get that, keep the energy going from a Friday. You go home, you feel like you sleep, Saturday you recover, and then you kind of feel like you still have a weekend. Maybe it's mental, but that's the approach that I've taken.
I just drink whatever.
Yeah, that's true. It's just whenever it's available. For me, I try and plan it, but it's a different situation. Like, you don't have a son to worry about, but
Not that
Yeah.
I know these.
well,
Yeah.
and then as I've gotten older in my late 20s, it's just certainly been more and more difficult to recover.
Hangovers are brutal, man. Like,
Dude,
well, I saw something. Did we talk about this already? I think we did. What's that one alcohol that you drink that we talked about last
that
time?
made you not want to
Not
drink
want to drink
anymore.
again. Yeah, fucking Jaeger, man.
How do you handle your hangovers? Because for me, when I'm hungover, and I find myself hungover a lot, like Saturday mornings, go figure, I feel like shit, but I still pop up. I get up, 7 in the morning. I get up, I'll pop a bottle of aspirin, drink a big thing of water, and I will feel like I'm going to throw up. I'll try and eat something real heavy, and then I'll go back to sleep. But I can't do the hair of the dog. I can't have another drink of alcohol for at least 12 hours.
I had a beer.
Did you?
Yeah, and it was pretty brutal to drink.
It just tasted like shit?
It was just like making me walk.
Oh.
So for me, the way I handle my hangovers, I just power through them, man. Like I don't take any ibuprofen or Advil or anything that like for my headaches. I don't fuck with any of that. I honestly just drink some water. I try to sleep. If I have to work, you know what I mean. I just go to work and fucking power through it. I'll sleep on my lunch and I'll eat something greasy, and that's it. I just power through it and allow it to fucking take its course, I guess. I do. I've slept on my lunch plenty of times, dude.
One thing that I've never done, and I'm actually really proud of this, is I've never called in sick because of a hangover.
Yeah, I would say the same here. Maybe.
I have a track record. Like, I know I have never called in sick because I was hungover. I've wanted to. I've showed up late and left early. I've given a solid 25% effort, but I've never called out.
I mean, it's only 10% less than what you normally do. So.
Right.
I don't want to say never. I know I have, but it's not as often as like some thing. Like I know people that can't handle a hangover at all.
Yeah.
And they fucking will call in sick. Just, I mean, whatever. You know what I mean? I'm gonna tell a story. He's gonna be mad at me, but I don't want to say who it is. I have a friend that worked with me, and we all went out, drank the same amount of alcohol. Nah, he probably drank more.
Well, he also
Yeah, but no.
percentage-wise, should be able to drink a little more.
And at the time, I was his boss, so he texted me in the morning saying, "Hey, I'm not gonna be able to make it work today," and I was like, "No,
Fuck.
you're gonna go." Like, I feel like shit. I'm here.
Yeah.
You know, figure it out. He was so mad at me. He was so. I mean, even like to this day, he brings up that story. Like, can't believe you fucking made me go to work that day. And I don't know. I just feel like if we're both at the same fucking party, like either I dialed it back to where I knew I had to wake up the next morning, or I just fucking powered through it. Like,
Yeah, it's hard because you were both at the same situation, and you're just like, where are you?
pretty
Like,
much.
you gotta fucking deal with it. Like, if I gotta feel like shit, you gotta feel like shit.
Yeah, but as far as the last time, I can say I called it sick because I was hungover, and it wasn't even. It was a predetermined hangover. It was the day the Dodgers lost Game 7 of the World Series. I called in sick at 11 o'clock at night. I knew that it. I knew I was gonna call in sick already, honestly, because
Yeah.
if they won, I was gonna party like it was fucking 1999,
Yeah.
you know. But since they lost, it was like a different drunk. It was like a depressing drunk. And I just knew, I just texted my boss at like 11, like, hey, I'm not working tomorrow. Just FYI.
I'm gonna put that in like the gray area. I'm not gonna like say, I'm not gonna put that in the you called out because you were hungover category, but I'm also not gonna put it in the like clear of responsibility category. That's gonna be the gray area because you kind of knew it was gonna happen. You probably should have, like, I'm a huge Packer fan. When the Packers made their last Super Bowl, which we watched at Rick's house.
Yeah, I have a picture of you on your knees when they were like kneading the ball or whatever. I don't. How did they kick a field goal to win it? I don't remember.
No, they had the Super Bowl from a what's it called? With an unbiased point of view, was in the hand for the Packers, but the Steelers still had a chance to actually win it if everything went right. If they got the ball back, if they scored a Hail Mary and scored a 2-point conversion and got the onside, like there was still a chance. And as a fan in the Super Bowl, you're not taking anything for granted.
Mm-hmm.
So it was coming down to like that last drive by the Steelers.
That's what it was. Okay.
That I was on my knees, just praying that we could get 4 downs, and that was it. Because it's not like you play for next week when you're in the Super Bowl. They're going to throw 4 Hail Marys if they have to, and so you don't take anything for granted. I mean, even this last boring ass Super Bowl between New England and LA Rams, it was still like a 1-possession game up until the last minute. So, and I think you have a picture of me with my clothes on, but I know for a fact that I was barbecuing naked at one point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you were excited.
It was a long time.
That was the day that was a Super Bowl where I got knocked out.
You got knocked out?
Yeah, I have a black eye in that Super Bowl. You ever seen the pictures?
No, what the fuck happened?
So me, Ryan, Yvette, Steph, and Rosanna, we went to the shortstop, and I don't know what happened. Somebody said something to the girls. Ryan, when it was like, "Hey, don't fucking talk to my friends like that." I was drunk out of my fucking mind. I went to like not fighting, but even like kind of just stop, like, "Hey, relax," and I got fucking sucker punched from I still don't even know where the guy came from. I just remember laying on my back, looking up, sitting up. I touched my face, and it was just gushing with blood because I still have a scar right here.
Yeah.
And I just said, "I'm not dealing with this," and I got up and I walked away. And then I think I got a concussion because like I know people are gonna say, "Oh, you were drunk, that's why you threw up," but like I think I got a concussion. Like
I think you would know if you drank too much to the point where you threw up.
Yeah, I don't think I was that drunk.
Like,
I mean, I was.
I would put that responsibility on you. Like, I think you know yourself well enough to know I drank so much that I threw up. And maybe it was 50-50. Like, maybe you wouldn't have thrown up if you hadn't have gotten punched. Maybe you wouldn't have thrown up if you hadn't drank so much and still got punched. But the bottom line is you probably had a concussion.
and I threw up all over Yvette's her bag. Like I guess her work bag,
like her,
her work bag, like had all like these reports in there for different kids. I fucking threw them all over that shit.
At least you could reprint them. Yes.
I mean, it's also a long time ago, so whatever. But
Yeah.
yeah, in all those pictures, I have a black eye.
I don't remember that.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because I had my mind on like focusing my energy, but to come back to our original point, that was the last time that I.
Got drunk for a sporting event?
Well, no, definitely not. I get drunk at a soccer game. That was the last time I took a day off because I knew I was going to be drunk. Like, one way or another, if the Packers had lost the Super Bowl, I knew that I didn't want to face anybody and deal with it, so I pre-scheduled a vacation day.
Yeah. I should have known that. I don't know why I didn't. I should have known, because I think the game was on a Tuesday, Game 7. I could be
We
wrong.
were here.
Yeah, it was the saddest fucking day. Remember? And then my next door neighbors were fucking Boston fans.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry, we weren't here. We were at your house. This is the studio, obviously. Yeah, they were having a great time.
Yeah, and they weren't even fucking fans of the Astros. They just didn't want the Dodgers.
They were just
fuckers.
here. I think that irritates me
I don't know what to read about.
more than anything, because it's like when you're just the hater, like you have no vested interest in the other team and you're just hating on the popular team, I guess you could say.
Well, they said that they're rooting because they're an American league, so they're rooting for the American.
And they're Boston fans, right?
Yeah.
So I
So
can
what-
kind of understand that.
So what's the rule then on once your team's eliminated from contention? Like, are you allowed to pick another team?
So
You like that?
it was, yeah, I did. That was. Did you see how I led up to it? Though? Like, this is how good we've gotten after 62 episodes.
This is something we wanted to talk about, guys. That's why it's kind of funny.
Yeah, it's one of the items on the list. So, I will say that I became a Laker fan when Pau Gasol came. I became a best.
You gotta tell that story though, real quick.
Okay, so I didn't really have a team in basketball.
And you don't want to be a bandwagon person.
I had my teams in football. I've been an Oklahoma fan. I've been a Packer fan for a very long time. I'm actually still kind of, as far as hockey goes, still a Sharks fan, as odd as that is. But I'll because I live in LA, I'll also root for the Kings. I'm a Dodger fan. I don't hate on the Angels, but I will hate on their fans, just because they think they're not ghetto, but they're ghetto as fuck.
Yeah, I hate when they talk about that guy that got beat up, but like somebody died
In
at
their
a-
stairwell.
Yeah, they
like,
stabbed him to death.
come on, okay, so yeah, but I don't hate on the Angels themselves. I hate on Pujols, but I don't hate on the Angels. I hate on the fans. But I didn't have a true basketball team. My dad was never a basketball fan, so I never really followed it.
And then
So-
you asked us, what's the worst team in the league? And then
So I'm looking for a team. Like I need a team. I need to root for something. So we're playing cards in the backyard, and I was like, all right, guys, what's the worst team in the NBA? Because I can't. At that time, the Lakers were doing really well.
Mhm.
I can't just jump on the Lakers bandwagon. Like I need to be vested into something. And so I think it was Ryan who turned and said, like, it's probably the Memphis Grizzlies.
Yeah,
Like,
they were a new franchise.
expansion. Yeah, so it's probably the Grizzlies. They suck, but they have like one really good player, and that was Pau Gasol. Like, okay, you know what, guys? Like, I'm officially announcing it right now. I'm a Memphis Grizzlies fan, and I think it was the next day, like
They
or
traded
within
him.
the week.
Yeah, they traded
They
him.
were like, we made a trade for Pau Gasol. He's coming to LA, and I said, all right, listen, this may not be the most justifiable way to get myself as a Laker fan, but I'm going to use it. Like,
It was fate, bro. You need,
My
you need
team,
to be a Laker fan.
right? My team traded my best player away to the Lakers for his brother, actually. So I'm going to follow Pau, and I'm going
It
to
worked
use
out for
that.
both people.
Yeah, and Mark actually had a really good career, but that's how I became a Laker fan.
I just wanted the masses to hear.
Yeah, I mean, you might say, oh, that's a bullshit reason, but no, you can follow the paper trail for it. Like, I filed my documents that said that I was a Memphis Grizzlies fan, and they traded their best player, so then I followed Powell over, and Powell was actually an essential part of a couple of championships. Like,
Yeah, too, yeah.
You can't take anything away from
Yeah,
Powell.
he's a Hall of Famer.
And then when they brought Ron Artest is my guy.
He's so awesome, huh?
He is
His
the
interviews.
fucking...
I got Wheaties.
Ron Artest is probably my favorite player of all time. And not just because of the Malice in the Palace, when he said, like, I'm not going to put up with this shit, like, I will go into the stands and fuck you up. Not just because after he started a brawl with a fan, he went to the locker room and asked
Are we
his
gonna get in trouble
teammates,
for that?
you think we're going to get in trouble for this? And everybody looked at him like, we may never play again. Not just because he straight went to Kobe, and I don't care what he says, like, oh, he made the, like, elbow motion. He told Kobe he was going to slit his throat. Like, he told him he was going to slit his throat.
He also went in the shower when Kobe lost the championship and said, "I'm gonna come help you." He's not even a free agent.
Yeah, he's like, Kobe, I'm gonna get you a championship. And Kobe said, Ron, I'm in the shower naked, and you ain't a free agent yet. And then when they offered Trevor Ariza a contract, and Trevor Ariza said, no, I'm worth more. And Ron basically put his hand up and said, I'll take that contract.
The mid-level exception.
Bam. He came, and I would say that, was it game 4? I think it was game 4 of the finals. When he had the putback on Kobe's missed shot.
I don't know, that was game 6.
Was it game 6?
No, no. It was a game against Phoenix, and we should have lost that game.
And he had a putback. Was it in the finals?
No, it was the
Semifinals.
one of the Western Conference Finals.
Okay.
We would have lost that game, and I think we would have lost the series.
Yeah, I think so too. But
Yeah.
he had that killer putback where he came from the 3-point line.
Kobe shot in, Kobe was short, and he fucking dropped it.
And Ron had just shot in from the 3-point line, came in, got the rebound, put it back, and that was game. And that's not the only play he made that game. Like,
he was a great defender.
He was
so awesome.
And as much as I love Powell and he got me to be a Laker fan, Ron Artest was my favorite Laker of all time. All time. The guy went to fucking, I think it was McDonald's, in his jersey, like his...
He went to the club in his jersey after the
Yeah, he was like, no, I'm a champion. I'm never taking...
Yeah. He's a nut, dude.
So...
But back to the question.
Back to the question. When is it okay to root for another team? So here's my dilemma. Here's the way I look at it. So you become a Laker fan, or you are a Laker fan, and you're diehard. The Lakers had a shitty season. You said what about their season? I can't remember. You said that they were...
It's gonna make the playoffs. And
that we could win a championship.
I said we could go to the Western Conference Finals for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I was wrong.
Yeah. It's been a bad season.
It's been terrible. They're limiting fucking his minutes.
I'm okay with that though. That doesn't bother me now. We're out. Like, we're not gonna make playoffs. Limit them. I don't get, like, it is what it is.
So when the Packers get eliminated, though, who do you root for a team or not?
So here's why I brought this question up about the basketball season that we're in. I'll give you the equation in football terms. If the Packers aren't going to make the playoffs, like last season, they got eliminated. I actually rooted. I didn't root for, but I would rather see the Bears win. That may sound contrary to what most people would say is, why are you rooting for your biggest rival? Well, I want the bar set. Like, I want the bar set high so that ownership, and the Packers don't have a owner, there's, it's a publicly traded company. But I want management to look at that and go, okay, now the bar is this high, we need to be above it. Like, I think it steps your team up. Once the Bears got eliminated, then it was, all right, I'm going to root for somebody in the NFC because...
So you're a league guy.
I'm a league guy. I'm going what's going to be closest to my heart. And I think you know the way I feel about Drew Brees.
You fucking hate him.
I hate him.
And his scar.
But he's like so amazing, and there's so many things that you just... How can you hate on him? I just have to. But... He's amazing.
So I'm the I don't want to say I'm the opposite. I don't like I root for my team and my team only. I don't really baseball's like a regional sport, so like I really only watch Dodger games. I don't
Yeah.
watch anything.
That makes sense.
Basketball, for the most part, I would say like 90% of the basketball games I watch are Laker games. Every once in a while, like if I know it's like going to be a good game, like Rockets versus Golden State or
yeah.
Celtics, I'll watch those games.
Boston Golden State was
Yeah, but I won't. I don't care who wins. Now, I find myself, especially in football, because the Raiders have been so bad for so long that you kind of have to have like other rooting interests. That's why fantasy football is probably so amazing right now. But I find myself rooting for like specific players. Like for instance, like when Larry Fitzgerald was in the championship against the Steelers, like the Cardinals were. Against, Like I wanted the Cardinals to win because of Larry.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's just like that guy that was like, you could tell like he's just a humble dude. Like he seems like he's really cool and like
a grinder. Like,
and he went through like so many shitty quarterbacks that like he kind of deserved it. He had a great play that put him up, but obviously they didn't win. But for like basketball, I just watch the games to be entertained. I don't have a rooting interest unless I bet on it. But like football is a sport that like I feel like I always root for a person.
And see, with football, I think while I will be league loyal, I think there's certain times where I will root against the team. Okay, so this year
I root against the fucking Patriots all the fucking time.
And see, I don't understand. That surprises me because you are such a person of like excellence, right? You.
I'm not saying I don't appreciate their greatness. I'm saying you can still hate the team and not.
And see, I rooted.
It's a respect almost,
Yeah, I rooted for the Patriots this past year. Poor Robert Kraft and his whole sex scandal, though we didn't find out about that till after. Part of it was that the Packers lost to the Rams, so it was like, fuck the Rams.
Well, I hate the Patriots because their dynasty may have never been built if it wasn't for the Tucker rule.
Yeah.
So it starts with the Raiders being on the bad end of history.
Bad call. Yeah. Okay, I can see
that's where and at that point it's like, do we know this all would have happened? I mean, let's say that Tuck rule didn't happen, right?
Fumble.
Would Tom Brady still even be the quarterback? Because they had Drew Bledsoe still on their team.
Yeah.
Would he still be the quarterback next year after he won? After he lost in that game, like I don't know, like, whatever, right? That's just me being,
It surprises me though. It's
spiteful, I guess. Or whatever.
Yeah, and it surprises me that you're spiteful over the Patriots because
18 years later.
Those things burn. I still hate Michael Vick for a fucking 4th and 26 where they picked it up against the Packers when he was with Atlanta. Like, I want to say that was probably about 18 years ago. I still remember the fucking play. Like, those things burn. Like, they hurt. But what surprises me is you are such a Michael Jordan fan who was obviously a bull, beat the Lakers plenty of times, but yet you hold that...
He beat him once in the championship.
But yet you hold that Michael Jordan to such a high...
At some point, I'm sure it'll be more of an appreciation. It's just because the Raiders suck so much, so like literally, like that's the only thing we can tell Cowboy fans. Like, well, we've been in the Super Bowl before, like you guys have been in the Super Bowl since like '96. At least we went in 2002. Like we've been more relevant.
Yeah.
Like recently.
Yeah.
But still, that recently is fucking 16, 17 years ago, whatever it is. And
I'll be honest with you, man. When Derek Carr, who was the quarterback of the Raiders, when he broke his leg, man, my heart broke for all my friends. Because that was... I'm not going to say you were going to the Super Bowl. I'm not going to say you were going to win the Super Bowl. But you were on that run. And,
you had a good team.
And some things come down, as much as we want to say, like, oh, you're a great team because of skill. A lot of getting to the Super Bowl, a lot of it's luck. A lot of it is a bounce. When the Packers won the Super Bowl, okay, the only reason they made it into the playoffs was because the Giants lost a game.
On purpose, like the week 16 or whatever.
They didn't even
Or
need
something.
to. They had it in the bag. They kicked a punt to, I want to say, maybe, I'm going to throw this out there, Alshon Jeffrey, who was an Eagle at the time, and he ran it back for a touchdown.
Nah, it was Deshaun Jackson.
Okay, you might, yeah, I think it was Deshaun Jackson.
Alshon Jeffrey wasn't even in the league.
Okay, okay, so yeah, he ran it back for a touchdown off of a punt that should have been kicked away from him. Eagles won the game, which knocked the Giants out, which gave us like the wild card. So there's a lot of luck to getting to the Super Bowl. And that year, that Derek Carr broke his leg, he was playing at his highest.
And we had a lot of balls bounce our way too. We had a lot of like
One possession games you won.
Yeah.
And when he broke his leg, like I said, I don't know how deep you would have gotten in the playoffs. I think you had a team
We
that
would have
was
won that first game, I think.
You would have won the first game. You would have gotten to the divisional round. I don't even think you would have been in the wild card. I think
No,
you
we
would
would
have
have won. We would have won the division.
You may have had that bye. That I don't know. I don't remember if you would have had the bye or not. But I think you could have gotten the AFC Championship pretty easily. Super Bowl, winning the AFC, that I don't know. But when he broke his leg, man, my heart went out to all my friends because that was the season. Like,
It's terrible.
It is what it is. He went down. Season's over. Try and build upon it for next year, and they just never did. But now that the Lakers are out of the play, and I guess technically they're not.
No, mathematically they're not, but they're out. It's not gonna happen. We have to go like on a fucking 17 game winning streak or whatever.
Is it okay for a Laker fan to root for, let's say, Golden State?
No.
No? Why not?
I don't root for anybody that's like, or I don't root for anybody else that's on my team. Like I said, I don't. If there's a player, especially them right now, because they're also dominating the league.
They're fucking amazing.
And okay, so if I had to choose between them winning the championship or like the Celtics, I'm gonna choose them.
Okay.
Because
The lesser of two evils.
yep.
What about-
Because the Celtics win, then now they're 2 championships ahead of us. We're still 1 behind them.
Yeah, that's a good point. What about
I kind of want Toronto to win, honestly.
sharing an awesome first name with a great player?
What do you mean?
Let's say
Kevin Love?
No, Kevin Love sucked. Let's say you share a first name.
I share a birthday with somebody.
You do. But what if, like, Richard Sherman?
Okay, what about him?
Is it okay to root for Richard Sherman because you share a name?
You could pick whatever reason you want to root for somebody. That's fine. I don't care. It doesn't matter. I'm just saying I won't root. I don't have a rooting interest in either fucking team. Like if I had a preference, I would hope that there was no championship game, but obviously that's not the case. So
It could happen.
I doubt it. I mean, unless all they're playing blow up or something.
Why you gotta go there, man?
I'm just saying.
It's evil.
Hey, did you know today I learned that if your penis is 6 inches long when it wrecked, you're in the 90th percentile according to the largest study of human penis size?
I've always been an A student.
Yeah.
At 6
Over-
inches, it doesn't
over-
seem like it'd be that hard to hit.
No.
Really? 6 inches?
I don't know. That's sorry. That's just something that caught my fucking.
So, no, I believe you. Don't show me. So, this morning, Yvette,
Whoa, 6 inches. This is.
I'm not worried about 6 inches. I've got 6 inches. I'm plenty fine with that. She was like, "How did you sleep?" And I said, "I slept really good, but I woke up with like the hardest erection."
I wake up every day with a fucking boner.
I don't wake up every day.
I like 90% of my days I wake up.
A lot of days, but today was like one of those like pressure filled.
Do you wish she was there so you could?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like it was one of those days where you know you're long.
Yeah, you're extra big.
You're just like, I know I'm long. I had trouble getting out of bed. Like I had to get up on my elbows and my knees to get, because I couldn't just roll out. It just wasn't happening. But I have no idea what it was, but this morning was just one of those like proud
Hey, where are
mornings.
you?
Like if I had the opportunity to clone my dick at that point, like
Every single time you see that
that's
size.
it. Yep, that's it. But yeah, no, I smashed on 6 inches. Like, and I'm not saying that I'm like an anaconda cock, But this morning, yeah, no, I would have pissed on 6 inches in a heartbeat. And it was one of those, like, you feel the pulse of
No, I know what you're talking about. It's like hard as fuck. And it's
well,
like,
I'm more talking for our listeners,
Oh.
the ladies, so they kind of understand it.
well, they'll never be able to feel it, bro.
Well, I mean, if they wanted to, they could feel it.
No, they can't.
I'd let them.
No, you wouldn't.
I would not. No,
No, you
you're
would
right.
not.
My,
You're
no,
damn
yeah, my
right.
fiance would get very mad at that. But if you do want to,
So let's do some. Am I the asshole?
let's do an Am I the Asshole?
So this one says, "Will I be the asshole if I didn't invite my parents to my wedding?" Okay, so let me read this to you a bit. So over the last year, some very important events have occurred in my life. First being one, I graduated from college, and since then, 2 more big things have happened. One not relevant, and the other one is to come in a few weeks. I invited them, which they haven't declined yet. They live 2 hours away, so it's entirely feasible for them to. Sorry, what are we doing? Feasible for them to take a Saturday afternoon drive to see their son. It's got me so disheartened that if I were to find a woman to marry her, I guess he's not even gonna get married then. Yeah, quality. I'm tempted to not invite them to, or just send them a message that they've heard me. So pretty much, I guess they're like thinking like forward thinking.
Yeah. Well, first off,
So is he the asshole to not invite his parents to the wedding after this?
for petty ass shit, as like a vindictive thing, I would say yeah. Like yeah, you're an asshole. If you don't want them there legitimately, like, then don't invite them. That's okay.
Well, for me, the fact that you're even asking it, then I think you are. But, I mean, I've had this conversation with my mom and my dad. If at any point I ever do get married, like, don't tell me who I can and can't invite to my wedding.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's going to be people there. Not all my family's going to be there because I don't talk to them all the time.
Yeah.
So if he feels that, like, his parents are a-holes, and then you do what you want to do. Like, are you an asshole? Yeah, but, I mean, it's your fucking wedding.
You know, like I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just taking it from a different point of view. If you're doing it
In spite.
out of spite, yeah, you're an asshole. Like, if you don't want them there, then be okay with that and don't invite them. But the problem that I see is that it seems like he's looking for a reaction. Like, I'm not going to invite my parents, and that's going to get him. That's going to dig and get
Yeah,
him.
that's definitely a millennial thing, for sure.
And it's like, you're not going to get any validation from that. If your parents don't give a shit about you, not inviting you to their wedding is not going to bother them. And that is going to fucking burn a lot longer. So
Yeah, I think that in my mind, he's just trying to get a reaction out of them, and then whatever that reaction is, will either validate or prove that they don't love him.
and the problem is it doesn't sound like they love you. Like, first off,
Yeah,
you gotta find someone who loves you to marry you. Like,
you can't be a little bitch.
yeah, like, oh, someday
You
when I
need to get your under 6-inch penis out of her face.
yeah, micro penis. But once you come and you get to be okay with that, like, I know you, and we joke about the fact that you're single. You could have gotten married a number of times. It just wasn't the right situation for you. Had it been, you invite, like you said, who you want to invite. If
Does that mean that I told him that?
fuck no. And I'm gonna put it to you like this.
Am I the asshole? We're talking mom.
Nope. Had your mom come and said, "Here's a check for
Oh yeah, that's different.
$100,000. I want to pay for your wedding." Well, then you gotta invite whoever the fuck they want.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're doing it, that's on you. You invite.
She got a little butthurt when I told her that, and I was like, "Look, there's people that I don't talk to. Like, they're not that important to me in my life. Just because we share blood doesn't mean that they're required to be at my wedding." And that's just how I feel. I'd much rather, like, if I came to where I had to pick, I don't know, a third aunt that I never see, and
Or me.
you, like, yeah, like, what the fuck? I see you way more often than I see them ever. There's some people I see once a year on Easter.
Yeah.
That's the only time I ever see them. They're not gonna be buying my fucking money.
Like, why would you spend the money for it? And to be honest, as your friend, if I knew that I wasn't going because you had to invite a relative you saw once a year, I think I would be like irritated. Like, really?
What age did you get married?
I got married at 28.
28. So growing up, did you have like goal like did you want to be married by a certain like age? Because in my mind, I always said I was gonna be married by 35. That's not happening, honestly. But like I don't know why 35 was always the age in my mind. Like I want to be married by 35, have like my first kid probably at like 36, 36. You know, try to pop out 2 of them before I'm like 38. And,
Like a timeline.
yeah, I had like an idea of like what I wanted in my life. I never wanted to get married young. Like I wanted to live it up.
I never had a timeline where by this date, by this date, by this date. I had, let's call them tiers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I've known since I was a little kid that I wanted to get married, I wanted a family, and that was always a goal. It didn't matter when it came. If I would have gotten married at 22 and started a family, I would have been happy with that as well. Obviously, I'm in a situation right now where I get to kind of start that over again. I'm going to get married to my fiance. We're going to have a child.
I was literally going to ask you that question right now.
So for me, it's not necessarily, I don't look at it as a linear time. It's like steps climbing up a mountain.
I guess you just use age like, or at least I did, just as like a gray bar almost. Like, you know, like it's not, like you're talking
benchmark.
About, yeah,
Benchmark,
of because like I know, let's see, when I turned 25, like I told myself, because I've always been like a little hustler as far as like trying to make money.
Oh yeah.
So like making money wasn't necessarily like an issue. It was more.
You knew you were going to make the money.
Yeah, I knew it was going to come. And what happened was after when I stopped selling phones, I kind of had to restart my life, you know, because there was a lot of things that kind of happened around that, and it just I had to restart. So I started from the bottom again, and I had set myself like a 10-year goal. Like, all right, like I expect to be making this type of money at this age, buy a house. Like I want to be all doing this by the time like I'm 30, and I ended up doing it like at 33, which is a little off of what I want. But I think it's important for everybody. I'm not trying to be all preachy right now, but I think it's important for everybody like set goals for yourself, even if you don't achieve them at the time that you want. Like you still should be wishing, you know, forward to getting that. And you know, when I bought my house, I actually signed the docs on my birthday, and I was like, damn, this is like the best birthday gift I'm ever gonna receive. You know what I mean? And it was cool, like. But I think it's important, like, marriage is difficult because you can't predict that. But like other things, when it's financially or like buying a home or business, or you know, when you were younger, it was like I want to have a cool car, like I think that's important to like set those goals out or whatever. But I really thought I was getting married by like I'm 35 though. I really thought I was going to be.
Well, and I think a lot of people set goals lower than what they should. If you're looking at your life and you're like, I want 2 kids and 3-bedroom, 2-bath house, that shouldn't be your goal. You should strive for more. Strive past that.
Not everybody wants that.
But I'm just saying, if that's what you want,
I've literally.
Hear me out on it though. Hear me.
But I want to say.
Okay, go ahead.
I've literally stopped talking to a girl because she had no ambition.
Yeah, that has nothing to do with where I was
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I just want to say that.
We can come back to that though.
I can come back on you.
That's what she said. The reason why I say you should set your goals above is that whole like shoot for the stars. If you miss, you land on a cloud attitude. If your goal, if what you truly want is 3-bedroom, 2-bath, you know, wife, 2 kids, dog, shoot for a larger house, a better job, a bigger, you know, that way, if you don't hit your goals, you are still where you want to be. because you can find satisfaction in failure. And I think a lot of people think if I don't hit my goals, I'm a failure. Then your goals were wrong. You need to set your goals above what you want. A goal isn't the same thing as a milestone or a benchmark. A goal is what you're striving for. A benchmark is where you should hit. So if you do want that normal life, whatever you want to call it, that's your benchmark. Your goal is more than that. And I also think there's nothing wrong with the failure aspect of it. And I don't think there's anything wrong with reevaluating your goals, whether you want to or not. I didn't plan on being divorced, but I am. And like when you stopped selling phones, you had to kind of start back from the bottom and work your way back up. That was kind of how it was when my life changed and I got divorced. It was, okay, I got to start over again. I got to start grinding. I got to continue to build and continue to move forward. And some people have said, well, you lost like 5 years. Oh, well, maybe, but I wouldn't trade those 5 years. I have a son. That's it. I'll stop there.
Yeah, that's enough.
And that's enough. Everything else that goes along with it. But then now it's like, okay, it's almost like if you didn't pass a level in a video game, you go back to that checkpoint. Okay, keep going. Like, this may sound really inspirational, but there's nothing wrong with failing. And I think like Will Smith did some video on this where he was like, it's okay to fail. You find out in life as you live it. And I know I'm not that much older than Rich. I don't know how old our listeners are, but the thing that I've learned is that it's okay. Like, it's okay to hit the bottom. You look up and you go like, I got to pull myself up by my bootstraps, and I got to keep moving forward.
One of my favorite quotes, I have two of them actually. There's one from Michael Jordan, the other one, I don't know who said it, but I saw it in like a motivational book once, and I was like, damn, that's so fucking true. It's like, the difference between stumbling blocks and stepping stones are how you use them. And I always, to me, that always like resonated with me because it's funny. I was talking to Candace today, and because we went to lunch, and she goes, "How are you feeling?" And I'm like, considering the amount of alcohol I drank, not as bad as I thought. And then she goes, "God damn, Richard, always like with the pot, like the half glass, half full." And I'm not always like that, but like I know I'm like that a lot. But I feel like when you look at life or look at situations like that, you can get through them a lot better, But this is literally like I put this up every desk that I ever work at, like anywhere that I'm at. This, like, especially when I'm at work. It's from Michael Jordan. It says, "I missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games. 26 times I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot and missed. I've failed over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed." And I feel like that is that's from the greatest basketball player of all time, and whatever. And he obviously like lost a bunch of games in his life. I mean, he didn't win a championship every year, even though it feels like it. And
there was years he never got there.
Yeah, and there was a lot of people that, like, you look at Bill Gates, or not Bill Gates, I'm sorry, I can't think of the investment guy.
Bernie Sanders?
No. I can't think of his name right now. I'm fucking.
The Oracle of Omaha. Shit.
He talks about.
That's gonna bug me. No,
Yeah,
we're not going on until like.
Oh well, I can keep going on about the situation, but like he talks about how like he failed, he missed on a lot of things. Like Gary Vaynerchuk, Warren Buffett. There you go. They all talk about failure all the time because that's a big part of what they do. I mean, so I know we got real preachy right now, but
well, and even so when I was a kid, I studied Abraham Lincoln, and all of the failures that Abraham Lincoln went through, like the man only had one success in his life, and that was becoming president. He was a failed senator. He was a failed representative. He was a failed governor. He was failed at everything.
Can you explain to me how you could be a failed senator? I don't.
He never won.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant like he was bad at it.
No. Like he ran for office after office after. Like he was a failure until he became the president. And then even through that, he held the country together. I disagree with a lot of his policies, but here he was the icon of the Civil War and bringing America back together again, and then he was killed. When I went through my divorce with my son's mom and all of the things that surrounded that situation, one of the most inspirational things came from my mom, actually, and she said, I don't know how you're dealing with everything that you're dealing with. And my mom and dad are divorced. She initiated the divorce, they separated. But the way she had just said, hats off to you, like, you are doing something that most people would just give up on. And that's, just that motivation kept me going to continue to build my life and work from there. And I don't think anybody, if you fail at whatever it is, that's never the end. It's up to you whether you want to pick it up and go or give up. So we're going to take a quick break.
Yeah, we gotta talk about the winner
We
of
do
the fast food battle.
when we come back. So stay strong, y'all.